Ha ha ha! Oh boy, this is gonna be a very interesting commentary now, is it? Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with another commentary, and this one is a very, very special one to me. I know I've said that about other commentaries before, but this one means a lot to me in the personal level because this was the series that allowed me to get to know other people and also get to know other franchises, some of which are now have like some of my favorite games of all time. It's the 4-player, or now 8-player, star-studded slam fest Super Smash Brothers, baby. And I'll probably repeat that title when the announcer says it because fuck man, I love saying that title. So we have okay, I'm only doing the first game for now because it's like the easiest to like record and also the easiest to like get 100%. But I'll talk more about that in bits. Super Smash Brothers! I just had to say it. I'm sorry. I should have put a volume warning on that. I'm sorry. But okay, you might be wondering, so how is this commentary gonna go? This is a game that you don't necessarily beat. I mean, you beat the classic modes, and in future Smash games you beat like the adventure mode, the all-star mode, stuff like that. So you might be wondering, okay, so there's only classic mode, are you gonna do it with all characters? Okay, no. This is how it's gonna go down. I'm gonna be doing 2 classic mode playthroughs. The one you're seeing right now with Mario is, I thought it was appropriate, is he's technically character number 1 and the de facto all-around character for any Smash Bros. Game. And another one with my main from this game, Captain Falcon. That will be at the end. In between these 2 classic mode playthroughs, I will be showcasing the break the targets and board platform stage for all characters. But of course I won't showcase it with Mario because I'm already showcasing it with this classic mode playthrough. And after that, I'll be showcasing some matches because yeah, Smash Bros. Has always had, a lot of, single player modes for you to distract with. But, the main core factor, the core of Smash Bros. Is, getting some friends, either locally or later on in the series online, and just duking it out and just fuck each other up, So, I decided to showcase some matches. 5 in them in total. So the first one will be a 1v1, a simple 1v1 with no items. The second one will be a free-for-all with 4 players and items. The third one will be a team battle, the Team Red versus Team Blue on another stage. I think it will be on the unlockable stage, the one unlockable stage that Smash 64 has, which is Mushroom Kingdom. And the 4th and 5th ones will be pretty much 4th, the free-for-all, another free-for-all, just like the second match. And the final one will be a 1v1, just like the first match. Afterwards, I'll be briefly going over the character bios, just to showcase them, because why not? I think they're an interesting, unique aspect of Smash 64 that haven't been quite replicated in future games. Trophies were very close, but they lacked the animations that these character bios has. But of course, these character bios were more or less a prototype for the trophies. And then I will end it with the classic mode playthrough, and I'll wrap things up. So, you guys might be wondering, with this introduction out of the way, might as well say what I normally say in these commentaries, is that how the hell did I get introduced to Smash Bros? Was like, well, what's my history with the series? So my history with the series is a very particular one, because when I was a kid, the consoles I had were a Nintendo DS and a PlayStation 3. So I didn't have any console that was I could play Smash Bros on. I mean, maybe if you finagle with like PS3, you could like emulate Nintendo 64 games, but I never hacked so far, at the time of this recording, I've never hacked my PS3, so I've never done that. But those were the only consoles I had. But I always had like interest in getting, for example, a Wii or a Wii U eventually, or 3DS. And I'll get to that in a bit. But back during like 2011, 2012, especially 2012. That's when I started seeing Nintendo Directs for the first time. And before then, I knew about some games that were coming out. Maybe you would see advertisements for them, like in my country. That was still back when Nintendo didn't have a Portuguese division, full sets. But then they started adopting it like around 2009, 2010. They started, and that was still like Nintendo Ibérica, so it was Portugal and Spain combined together. Now they're mostly separate. We still share some stuff with Spain. I mean, in Portuguese box arts of Nintendo Switch games, you'll always see like descriptions on the back in both Portuguese and Spanish, so that's still something we share. But Nintendo Portugal and Nintendo Spain are now mostly separate. But going back on track, I was, especially when Nintendo Directs, I started seeing them. And before then, my exposure to Smash Bros. Was only seeing the box art of Brawl, and I was a weird fucking kid back then, where I didn't care, nor did I add much interest in games that looked violent. Now you may be wondering, Smash Bros. That's not really much of a violent series, and you're absolutely right. But Brawl, because of its darker tone and stuff, just kind of put me off for a while. So that was like my only exposure to Smash for a while, and I wouldn't really think about Smash Bros. For a few years, up until E3 of 2013. That was when I first was exposed to Smash Bros. Proper and what was it all about. When they first announced Smash 4 with Villager, and then they reintroduced some veterans, and then announced Mega Man, and then Wii Fit Trainer. And when I looked at it, because of its more colorful tone, and because now I actually was exposing myself to what the game was actually about, which is a big crossover for Nintendo and third-party characters, just duking them out on these weird-ass stages with items or no items, whatever floats your boat, and just having fun. And then I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's actually an interesting game. And Mega Man, when I saw Mega Man appear, I was like, oh, I know Mega Man. So he's appearing in Smash Bros. For the first time. That's cool. And then I think what really got me was afterwards, because I'm a person who likes seeing reactions to other people whenever a Nintendo Direct finishes. One of them that I saw right afterwards was Nathaniel Bandy's reaction. He's a YouTuber. You've probably heard of him. If not, then I haven't seen his videos in a while, but he's cool. He's cool. Either way, I saw his reaction to Mega Man, and he was freaking out. He was like, Mega Man! Oh my god! When I saw that was the moment where I realized, oh, I think Smash Brothers might mean a whole lot more than I thought it did. And since then, I wouldn't really follow Smash 4 thoroughly. I wouldn't see any of Sakurai's Miiverse posts. I didn't even know about them until the game came out, which is funny. But I would still watch Nintendo Directs, and I still watch them to this day. And I would see new characters being like Little Mac, or Rosalia Luma, or Greninja, or Pac-Man, and so on and so on and so on and so forth. And then I still remember, and then another thing that caught me off guard was when, Pac-Man, when he was announced, it was a similar reaction to Mega Man. It was like, oh yeah, finally Pac-Man! It was like, oh yeah, Pac-Man, that's cool. But what really got me was when this YouTuber, Etika, may he rest in peace, by the way, saw, when Mewtwo was announced as DLC for Smash 4, and he freaked out. And I was like, oh my god. I already knew of Mewtwo. I own a VHS copy of Pokemon the first movie, so I knew about Mewtwo ever since I was a kid. But seeing how much people wanted him back to Smash after he had been absent in Brawl, and was almost going to be absent in Smash 4, if not for the DLC, just wow, these characters, even not third-party ones, even first-party ones, can mean a fuck ton to people. And Mewtwo is a prime example of people really loving a character and wanting that character to come back. So because of Smash 4, and it was coming out, I didn't have a Wii U, I didn't have a 3DS, didn't have a Wii to play older Smash games, so I asked my dad to buy a Wii for Christmas, and he said, at least then, he said no, and all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, fine. I mean, fine. I mean, I was still a kid. I was 13 when the game came out. So, I was not necessarily the most emotionally mature person, but while I was waiting for, Smash 4, I decided, hey, let me try this emulation thing. That's around the time my emulator phase was still kicking. It was definitely a bit higher beforehand, but here I was actually playing the games I was actually downloading and getting in general. And I played Smash 64, and I have really fun memories of playing Smash 64 in late 2014 on an emulator. I was using a keyboard. This was way before I even knew how to play with a controller. So I used a keyboard, and I got used to it. And I still remember I had a hard time unlocking this, because for unlocking this, you gotta beat normal mode with 3 lives or less, and not use continuous even once. So for me, it was very hard as a young dude doing that. But when I finally did it, and I finally unlocked them, that was one of the biggest accomplishments I had in my life. Which nowadays I can do without much trouble. I mean, for this playthrough, because before I recorded this commentary, I was starting a new file and unlocking everything all over again, including item switch, which doing 100 matches is kind of boring, but whatever. That's done now. And I was able to unlock this without much trouble. I mean, I lost a couple of lives, but I didn't lose enough to have to continue, so that was nice. But I still remember when I did that, and I was trying the characters out in training mode, and I was like, oh, yeah. And that's how I found out that I really like playing as Captain Falcon. And I kind of discovered, like, what my playstyle is. Like, a fast and strong character, but their main weakness is that their recovery is not that great. With that statement, you may probably assume that I main Clouds. I do. He's my main in Smash 4 and Ultimate. I love Cloud, and that's actually, I mean, I already knew about Final Fantasy 7 beforehand, but when he was announced, I was like, oh my god. And because of his inclusion, I actually got into Final Fantasy 7 a few years later, 5 years later actually, after he was announced in Smash 4, and I actually really liked the game, which is funny because I have friends who are way more into turn-based RPGs than I am. I'm very picky with my RPGs. But they haven't played Final Fantasy 7 and I have, which is the most ironic thing ever. It's really funny. But back on track. So I played Smash 64, then I was able to play Melee and then Brawl, but my computer was shit. So with Melee and Brawl, it would crash a lot, blue screens and stuff, and I still have PTSD over that. But yeah. Creative people versus fighting polygon team. I love that joke. I just had to do it. I'm sorry. I just had to do it. But going back to what I was saying. So I played Melee and then played Brawl. With Brawl, I mainly just unlocked all the characters. And Melee, I mean, I unlocked all the characters in that, but it was kind of a pain in the ass because unlocking Mewtwo is a bit of a pain in the ass, especially when you're by yourself and can only figure out so many buttons on your keyboard to put to other players. So I think I only had like 2 players, still 4 to minimize on time. But yeah, I have my opinions into their respective game, which I'll probably get into later unless I run out of time. But after Brawl, like on July of 2015, I finally got a Wii U. My dad gave it to me, and I got Smash 4 alongside Splatoon, Mario Kart 8, and Wii Fit U of all things. But it came packaged with that specific bundle, which was a Mario Kart 8 bundle, but MediaMarkt was also packaging in a Wii Fit U. But I didn't have a Wii remote or Wii balance board. I got them later and eventually got to experience them later. That's a story for another day. But I got Smash 4 and I was like, I was so happy. He's like, yeah. And then on that day, I was playing Smash 4 on an emulator, and I defeated a level 9 CPU for the first time. And that was also like a wondrous occasion. And then when my dad came home and got me my Wii U, I was so excited. And I think that was the first time I actually set up a console by myself. if I recall correctly, or maybe not. Maybe I think on the internet side of things, I actually asked my dad for help. But besides that, I think I did most of the stuff by myself, and that was a great occasion. That was a great birthday because I got it on my birthdays, like when I turned 13. That was awesome. That was really awesome, and I'll never forget. Smash Wii U, in spite of a lot of its faults, is a game that has impacted me so much because it was the game that introduced me to Smash series. It was the game that I spent a lot of time in. I spent over 700 hours in that game. I don't think, unless maybe Sonic Unleashed, but I have no way to confirm that, no other game has passed that much. That's how crazy I was with Smash Wii U. And a lot of the time, it was like trying to do challenges or just fucking around, making stages. Even though the stage builder was very restrictive in Smash Wii U, I had a lot of creative choose, either recreating stages from the past that didn't come back, or just creating new stages that designed similar to that. For example, I remember I created a stage called Gear Getaway. So I based it off of a song that there was in Smash Wii U that was Gear Getaway, Gear Getaway, which is a music from Donkey Kong Country Returns. And I made that stage based off the initial design of Distant Planets from the Pikmin series that was in Brawl. But I actually added in some extra canyons, some extra platforms to make it more distinct, thus creating somewhat of a semi-clone of a stage. Or there was one time where I created like a stage that was very simple. It was just like a hill going down with a ramp in the middle, and I said, oh, this is a 1080 snowboarding stage because this was a 1080 snowboarding song in Smash Wii U. A lot of my creations kind of made it out. With Ultimate, I didn't, even though it was way less restricted, I didn't have as much creative choice, and most of the time I just downloaded stages from other people. I still made some stages though, just not as much as Smash Wii U. But after that, after playing Smash Wii U a lot, I would eventually get a Wii Remote and a copy of Smash Bros. Brawl. And yes, I only got a Wii Remote. That means that when I was playing for Brawl during those 3 months, from March to June of 2016, where I 100%ed, I did it with only a Wii Remote. Fuck me, I'm a maniac. All because I said to my dad that, oh, the nunchuck is not required, being the innocent dumbass that I am. Although, then when I actually got the nunchuck, and I played through, I was like, this feels so weird. And then I eventually got a classic controller, and I was like, this is better. But the classic controller I got at first kind of sucked. But then, way later, I got a classic controller Pro, and that one was actually way better. The other classic controller I had was a third-party knockoff, and the unlock stick and D-pad and the L trigger were all kind of funky and messy, and didn't work completely. Like, the unlock stick was very loose, the D-pad only sometimes worked, and the yellow button I had to press very hard in order to actually pick up, and I was like, god damn it. I wasn't very incentivized to do it. But by that time, I already had 100% of the Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and that was one hell of a journey, because I already had played the game beforehand, but now I was getting an actual physical copy, and I was doing everything by myself. I did all the challenges, I got all the stickers, I got all the trophies, I got all the music, characters, stages, the whole shebang, 100% in Subspace Emissary as well, all of that jazz. And then afterwards, I said to myself, I want to go on a Smash Bros. Break. Because by that time, Smash Bros. DLC had finished. You know, Corrin, Bayonetta, as controversial as they are. I still think they're fine characters, but Corrin really doesn't mean anything in the long run. I mean, I'm happy that he's in. It's just that nobody cares. And even fucking Fire Emblem fans hate Corrin. That's how shitty he is. And then Bayonetta. I like Bayonetta, personally, but I know the issues that she caused when she entered the game. Like, I'm not even much of the competitive scene. I'm not one to get into competitive scene. There was a time where I was interested in seeing, like, competitive clips. But nowadays, I really just play these games casually. Like, casually, both, like, casual and competitive. So, like, you know, either 1v1s with no items, or, like, free-for-alls with items, or just mixing it up, you know. Because, I know, I like that Smash Bros. Is a series that you just can customize rules however you see fit. Gotta drink some water. And, but then after that, I went on the Smash Bros. Break and tried other games. During the summer of 2016, I was like playing games like Super Mario Galaxy, Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess was also HD. Wii Sports, I got a Captain Falcon amiibo. And eventually I finally played No More Heroes, which was a game that I knew about for years up until that point. But then I finally played it, I was like, oh, it was so good that I played it twice. I actually did New Game Plus for that game. But then, like, when Switch was, being talked about, NX at the time, and then it was finally announced as a Switch. People were like, oh my god, Smash 4 Switch, bring over Smash 4, put it on Switch, with extra stuff. And I'm like, guys, shut the fuck up about Smash. Even as a person who loves Smash, I was like, guys, shut the fuck up. I was a doubter. But then, oh boy, March of 2018. That was one of the greatest moments ever. Because it was a decent direct. I remember I had a good time with that direct. It was still at the time where I was watching directs by myself because I didn't really have any friends that were interested in the same stuff as me. I watched it by myself, and I got to the end. And, some Splatoon 2 stuff was announced, and then they showed a CGI trailer featuring the Splatoon characters, but it was the Splatoon 1 designs, and I was like, what is this? My brain was trying to rationalize it, but my heart was like, this may be Smash, bro, this may be Smash, and I was like, no, it can't be Smash, Smash is not returning. And then, that shot of Inkling looking into the flaming Smash logo, I was like, oh my god, it's back! What, so soon? I freaked out, the internet freaked out, I saw the reactions and I saw that everyone freaked out. It was an awesome time. But then a lot of discussions came around. I was like, is it a port? Is it a new game? And I was right away, new game. Because it was a new logo. And they weren't showing any particular copyrights. Because normally Nintendo was very upfront when it is a port or a remaster. So why would they hide it so much? Even the silhouetted characters in the teaser, a lot of them were just veterans that we already knew and were in Smash 4. Why hide them? Why put them in silhouettes? And why redesign Link in, they could redesign Link as an alternate costume for a hypothetical board, but as the main design for Link in the Smash Bros. Game, I highly doubt that they would actually do it as a port. It would be a new game. And then it was finally confirmed because summer of 2018, something amazing happened. It was finally unveiled. They called it Smash Bros. Ultimate, and everyone was coming back. Even veterans that barely anybody gave a shit about, like Pichu, were coming back. This also means that a guy who I really liked, wasn't a main or anything, but a guy who I really wanted to return, was coming back. Kept you waiting, huh? I am a fan of the Metal Gear series. I have known Metal Gear for a good while now, even before I got, around the time I was getting into Smash. I already knew it ever since I was a kid. Ever since I was browsing through the PSN stores when I was young, I knew about Snake. But, back during Smash 4 days when, the second DLC feature was announced, Lucas, which was nice that he was coming back. They announced the Smash Ballot, and everybody knows Smash Ballot. There was a voting poll where you could just suggest characters, and and they would choose what would be the best one or the most fitting one or the one with the copyrights. If it was a third-party character or something like that. And I voted immediately. Immediately after the direct was over, Snake. I want my boy back. And then later, I voted for Isaac for Gold Sun because while I haven't played Gold Sun, I saw a video of a guy who really wanted the character, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna help the dudes out. And then later on, I voted for Simon Belmont, because I'm a Castlevania fan. Duh. And it is so interesting that the two I voted for because I personally wanted, got into the game. But the one I voted for, because I wanted to help people out, did not get into the game, and just decided to return his Insist trophy after he was absent in Smash 4. Which is why? Why? Especially, okay, slight tangent, why the fuck? Why in the holy mother of fuck would you wait until the last direct before the game came out to say, oh, Isaac is this trophy? It's what? I'm not even a Golden Sun fan, I find this disturbing. It's are you sadistic? like, I'm not even saying Sakurai, just the marketing team. Like, are you sadistic? Same thing with Shadow. Like, are you fucking sadistic? Do you want to watch your, like, because I get the feeling that the Japanese, or, Japanese developers, and just developers have a different idea of the sisters. Like, oh, it's nice that they're at least getting in some ways, but a lot of people do not like assist trophies. They rather than just being playable, or just not appearing in the game, or maybe as a spirit. Maybe, because now spirits, you can be a spirit and then you can still appear in the game as a playable character. Min was what confirmed that. And I think Pyre and Mithra as well. But yeah, back on topic. Ultimate happened. Then I met. I was able to make friends over the years. Just talking about Smash. One of my best friends I met. Because he wanted Dante from Devil May Cry to be in the game, and I also wanted Dante to be in the game, and then we met up and got to know each other. He's still, to this day, he's still a good friend of mine. Rock on, dude. You probably know who you are. But I also met a friend that is also one of my best friends. He knows, he's probably watching this video. I mean, I did say that I wanted to do a live I wanted to actually see his live reaction to this video. Just because, probably because of the edits. But you are, and I have just a code word, for you. Hope. He's gonna get that. I mentioned it in the night's commentary. I was gonna mention it again. But afterwards, like, the DLC happened, and then they ended with Sora, and I knew about Kingdom Hearts. I actually know the lore, somewhat. I could detail, like, the main parts of the lore, but I never really played the games much. Like, I played the first one a little bit on an emulator, but didn't really get far. I wanted to, like, actually get, like, a console that doesn't have cloud versions, so no Switch, and just get, like, a physical copy of the collections. Or the story so far, plus free. The complete saga, I think that's what it's called. And experience the series for myself over time, because Kingdom Hearts has always been a series I've been curious on, because it's an action RPG, and I like these summer action RPGs. So, I'd be willing to get into Kingdom Hearts, but then it ends, and now Smash Ultimate is pretty much done. If something new happens to it, I doubt it, but if it does, then, well, I wanted to get into a Smash Bros. Break after Sword was done, and I did. I'm still experiencing new games. I mean, at the time of recording, I am currently playing through the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Combo Collection, and I'm having a good time experiencing these old games. I think the next one I'll play will either be Turtles of Time, the Super Nintendo version. I already played the arcade version, or one of the versions of Tournament Fighters, just so I don't always like play beat 'em ups, because the collection is filled with a bunch of beat 'em ups. Good beat 'em ups. It's just that, just to avoid repetition, potential repetition on my side. But yeah, and now we're at a point where, but if something new happens, like, I'm there. I'll be there, and I'll be watching, and I'll be following, because I'm a Smash fan. Friends of mine that are Smash fans. It was because of this series that I got introduced to a lot of other series. I mean, the thing about Smash, especially Smash 64, like, I already knew every single series that was in the game, like, even F-Zero and Earthbound. It's just that, thanks to Smash, I got more of a desire to want to know these series better. Specifically, F-Zero, because I ended up maining Captain Falcon because I really liked his playstyle. And I haven't played that much of F-Zero. I have played a bit of Super Nintendo game, I have played a bit of the of X, I have played a bit of GX, and I have played a little bit of Climax on an emulator. But that was just me in my emulator phase, just testing it out. And I think it created like a course or two with the game's course editor. It was nice. But so I could say I'm a casual F-Zero fan, and I do want a new F-Zero game whenever that happens, or a remaster of GX. Who knows? I'd be content with that. I mean, it just means that F-Zero is finally getting a game after like what? Almost 20 years. Oh my god, it's almost been 20 years since Climax. What the fuck? But yeah, and then, for example, a series that I got introduced somewhat to via Smash is Xenoblade. Like, if for some of you, you may know that I love Xenoblade 1. And Xenoblade 2 and Xenoblade 3 were also great. Especially Xenoblade 2, but my favorite is Xenoblade 1. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It was the game that actually made me care about RPGs. Because I had played some RPGs beforehand, like Pokemon Pearl or Super Mario RPG, but they weren't like full on convinced me. Even if I did beat Super Mario RPG, Xenoblade Chronicles blew me away. And it's one of my favorite games of all time. I have such reverence for that game and such passion for that game. I got to know about it, I would say it would be the ESRB leak, but technically I actually got to know about the Xenoblade series thanks to the announcement of X at the time, now Xenoblade X, back in E3 2013 when that game was, in its development, and then they got delayed a bunch of times because HD systems are tough to figure out. So yeah, but that's how I got to know about Xenoblade. But it was thanks to the ESRB leak that I actually got to know Shulk as a character. And I will say, back then, I did actually spoil myself on the ending of Xenoblade 1, but the game still blew me away because I did not have much context for the ending, so I was just kind of going through it. But then when I played the game, I was like, oh my god, my mind was fucking blown. I don't want to really get into much of a Xenoblade discussion in this video because it's a game that I don't want to spoil at all. It's a game that I highly recommend experiencing blind. It's a long one, yes, but it's definitely worth your time, I believe. And if you're ever in trouble with the gameplay, with the definitive edition, just play on casual mode. I really want people to just get into the game, alright? Anyway, just get into the game. See the story. Get to experience the gameplay. Please. Please. But, for example, Tekken. I already had played Tekken beforehand, but Kazuya being Smash actually made me want to play Tekken again because I had only played the first game. And I didn't really like it. I was thinking of playing future Tekken games in spite of that, but I didn't really get encouraged to until Kazuya was announced for Smash, and I started going to 2 right away. Let me go to Dark Resurrection, which is the PSP port of 5, and I played 6, and I was like, oh, I like Tekken. It's not a fighting game that I'm good at all, but I enjoyed it. It's fun. And so yeah, Street Fighter, another example. I knew about it, but thanks to Ryu's inclusion in Smash 4, got more interested in it. Like, Smash Bros. Can do that. And I don't like when people say, oh, where does he come from, or all this stuff. It's like, guys, why not just research him, alright? Why not, instead of complaining that, oh, your favorite didn't make it, just appreciate that this guy is in, you know? I'm not trying to say, be grateful or anything. I'm kinda am. But I'm also do some research, play other games, you know? That's the magic of Smash Bros. It's not only seeing your favorite characters in the game, but also getting introduced to brand new series that you didn't really know of. Terry's the biggest example. When he was announced, I barely knew of SNK and Neo Geo. I had heard of them once or twice before because I follow a Brazilian YouTuber and he had mentioned that, and Neo Geo games are popular in Latin America. But when he appeared, I didn't know much of. So I did my research, I played some King of Fighters and Fatal Fury games, and I really liked the guy. And I also played Neo Turf Bastards, which is the best golf game I have ever played. I highly recommend you guys check it out. It's $8. It's on the Switch. Via the arcade archives. Please play that game. It's amazing. It's a great golf game because it actively just simplifies a bit of the golf gameplay and just is more about time and stuff. So yeah, it's a fun game. But Terry was the biggest example. But in terms of Smash 64, if I were to, I think maybe this would be the part where I would rank the Smash games, mainly because I'm already talking about the other Smash games here, might as well. So I'd say my favorite is Brawl because while its speed is slower than any other Smash Bros. Game, it's the game that I had the most consistent fun with, and I enjoyed a lot of its modes and its content in general. Brawl has good content. Some people don't like the Subspace Emissary, the game's adventure mode, and that's fine. I personally really enjoyed it. Of course, it could have had more Nintendo themes and stuff like that, But I actually enjoy platforming and going for level design and all that stuff. It's kind of like a classic beat 'em up in a way. And I would love for that game to start to return, but unfortunately it has not yet, which is a bit of a shame. And also the cutscenes are a nice bonus for me. But then the second place would be Ultimates, because that game is just amazing that they brought everyone back and nearly every stage back. In terms of modes, it's a bit lacking, but the modes that are there, most of them I really enjoy. Like classic mode, that's my favorite classic mode in the series. Home run contest is as good as it was. Stage builder is really refined, and I enjoy that. World of Light is a bit of a mixed bag to me because I enjoyed the concept, but it goes on way too long and it gets too repetitive for my good. I'm not even sure how the fuck I even had the tenacity to go through New Game Plus as well. Jeez. And All-Star was a nerf, but I understand. So I don't have much to complain about. It's just like I understand they're already making it a bit easy in Smash 4 because there was a lot of characters, and now when you're bringing everyone back and have a roster of over 80 characters, yeah, if All-Star mode was like Melee or Brawl, it would get very long, very tiring, and people would be bitching. So I think this was for the best. I just wish that maybe like you know what? I lost my train of thought. Fuck it. Oh well. Moving on. The third one would probably be Smash 4, actually. Because Smash 4, while it has its flaws, and on some of its modes I don't really jive in. Smash Tour, I'm looking at you. Go. The mode itself didn't even piss me off that much. It was the challenges related to it that fucking suck. I hate that shit. And I still have not 100% Smash U because of that. I mean, not because of Smash Tour. I actually did all the Smash Tour related challenges, but there's one challenge that I'm missing, which is 9.0 without losing stock. I have tried it, I have failed, and I decided I don't even get that much stuff. I already got everything else, so I decided to fuck it. It's not worth my time. But I have 100% other Smash games. I mean, it's Smash 64, Brawl, 3DS, and and besides that, oh, I guess I should also mention. Sorry for the tangent. Actually, no, I'll get to that later. I'm actually not gonna go on the tangent for once. Yeah, Smash 4, and I think I would rate the 3DS version a bit above the Wii version because I think the 3DS version is just more consistent. Like Smash 4 is a fun time. The classic mode is better. I don't like the amount of randomness that the Wii version has. Like the 3DS version also has a little bit of randomness, not nearly as much. Like it's a comfortable ride in the 3DS version, even on harder difficulties. On Wii U, especially on harder difficulties, fuck man, that shit sucks. But yeah, Smash 3DS and Smash Wii U, but they're kind of close together, I'd say, because they're basically the same game, just with some differences. And then I would put Smash 64. Yes, I'm actually ranking Smash 64 above Melee because Melee I have a lot of problems with, and none of which come from the competitive scene. I just don't like how repetitive it can get by trying to get every trophy, or just like beating Classic and Adventure and All-Star with everybody. And that wouldn't be much of a problem if the modes themselves weren't kind of repetitive. Like, okay, Classic mode and Melee, that's good. I actually like Classic mode and Melee. It's a nice variety, break targets and all that stuff. But then Adventure mode is like the most disappointing thing I've ever seen, because there's some stages that are really cool. You got your platforming and defeating enemies, and that's nice. But you don't see that many of them. You only see like, okay, Mario, Zelda, F-Zero, Metroid had a unique one, and that's pretty much it. All the other ones you're basically just fighting. And because Adventure mode's structure is fixed, just like Classic mode in this game, in Smash 64, it gets repetitive really fast. Like with Smash 64, you don't even have to deal with all the characters. You only need to deal with the original 8s. And you know what? Smash 64 has a lot of charm, which, you know, another reason why I like it so much. But Melee, it just kind of infuriates me. And also, it's even on very easy, I'd say that Melee is just a bit harder than Smash 64. Of course, on very easy, it's very easy still, but like, getting some of its challenges, unlocking some of its trophies is really a pain in the ass, and I'm not 100% in the Melee because of it. All-Star mode is also just fighting a lot. it's not fixed, the structure, but still like, fighting, more fighting, more fighting, more fighting, and its repetitive structure just made me like put myself off. And also, I don't really like events. I'm just not a fan of majority events. They're either way too fucking hard for their own good, or they give you tasks that are just kind of like, not that interesting, gotta be honest. I mean, some of them have interesting premises, but what you actually do in the event itself, I'm not a big fan of. Like, one example that comes on top of my head, there's an event in Melee where you have to carry, you basically have to hold on to a Yoshi egg for a minute, and that's pretty much all you're doing. You're just escaping the fighters and doing that. I don't find that invigorating, especially because it's not that difficult, but also not that hard. And then there's other events like event 47 that is way harder than it has any right to be, and this just kind of pisses me off. Like, some of these events I absolutely loathe because of it, and because of that I don't have much positivity to give to events in Melee. And then unlocking some of the characters is a bit of a pain in the ass, like 20 hours maybe too. This not a fan. Again, not a fan of a lot of things that Melee does. I like how it controls. Speed is a bit fast for my liking, but not bad. It's just that there's a lot of things I don't like about Melee. But I will say that I do appreciate like the amount of effort that went into that game. Like, it's a game that, yes, you could tell that they really poured their heart and soul into it, try and make it a really good sequel to Smash 64. I mean, in Japan, the game is called Great Freight Smash Bros. Daionto Smash Bros. Deluxe, and then Brawl is called X. So, yeah. But yeah, I would rank Melee last, and the reason why I rank Smash 64 above it is just because I have a more consistent fun in Smash 64, and also I just really appreciate the game's charm, which is something that was a bit lost in translation with Melee. Melee has its own charm, but Smash 64's cartooniness, in comic book style, just are a bit more appealing than Melee. What Melee went for, and then Brawl is darker, yes, but I don't mind it because Brawl just has so many other things going for it that I don't really mind it all that much. I do like that Ultimate actually made a mix between Smash 4 and Brawl. That was nice. But yeah, now we're doing the matches, and I guess I might as well explain what the hell Smash Bros. Is. I mean, for 42 minutes into the video, I'm explaining what Smash Bros. Is. I'm a dumbass. I mean, I know a lot of people that are going to be watching this video know what Smash Bros. Is, and I already explained it a bit. It's a crossover fighting game, but it's not a traditional fighting game. And some people may not know what Smash Bros. Is, or know only a little bit of it, so might as well take this opportunity to explain what Smash Bros. Is. So it is a crossover fighting game. Up until Brawl, you could play with 4 players total, but starting with Smash 4, you could play up to 8 players. Although in Smash 4, it was only in specific stages. In Ultimate, every stage is compatible with 8-player Smash. And basically, unlike other fighting games where you have a health bar, and it's all about draining that health bar to 0, you have a percentage meter here. And the more you build up, the easier you are. Whenever you are hit, the more you launch. So higher the percentage, the higher you launch when you get hit. The objective is to attack your opponent enough to be able to KO them by knocking them into one of the sides of the screen. In this stage, it could go like left, up via the sky, right, and down via that pit that you see in the middle. This is the unlockable stage Mushroom Kingdom, by the way. The one unlockable stage that is in Smash 64, and one of the stages that was designed by Masahiro Sakurai's wife, which is pretty cool. Yeah. But unlike other fighting games, Smash Bros. In general has this trait where every character's controls are shared. It's just that their moves are different. So whenever you press like the analog stick on the side and you press B, you will always do something for every character. It's just that what they do is probably going to be different, like 95% of the time, unless you talk about clone characters, which share movesets and only different certain properties or maybe certain moves with other characters. There's also semi-clones, which differ a bit more, and then there's pseudo-clones, which are only share like a few things in common, like Captain Falcon and Samus, which they share the same up tilts, especially in this game. And then there's, you know, fully original characters like Mario comparing to Pikachu, both different. So yeah, that's pretty much the premise of Smash Bros. You got a normal attack button, you got a special attack button, you use the analog stick to different directions so you can make different moves. You also have aerial attacks, which are performed with the normal button while you're in the air. And then you got smash attacks, where you charge the analog stick in a bit, and you press A, but you know, with some force. Bam! You do a smash attack. And there's also tilt attacks, which are not part of your normal attacks. And then there's final smashes, which were introduced in Brawl. They were actually supposed to be introduced in Smash 64, but because of technical limitations, they weren't able to do it. And they were introduced in Brawl, and basically when a Smash Ball appears, or in the case of Ultimate, you can turn on a feature to have a meter appear, so you can do the final smash with that. You are able to press the special attack button to unleash your final smash, pretty much a super move. An easy example is that with Sonic, he transforms into Super Sonic and zips all across the screen. Of course, in its Ultimate, the Final Smashes would change so they were a bit more simplified and a bit more cinematic. But yeah, there's a lot to say about Smash Bros. There's a lot of stuff that has happened over the years. There's always plenty of speculation regarding fighters, people wanting their fighters. I mean, I will say this right now. The fighters I want most for the next game are Dante and Travis Touchdown. Travis Touchdown being from No More Heroes and Dante being the protagonist of Devil May Cry. But of course, I am actually one of those few people that is content that they at least got me costumes. I just wish that they got music attached to them so that I could put it on the stage that I would make in Stage Builder, and then there you go, I could pretend that like Dante is in Smash Bros. It is interesting to think that about the Miis, which are basically avatars, but of course they're very simplistic avatars in the grand scheme of things. But you could basically put like anybody in the game. Like, do you want fucking Obama in Smash Brothers? There you go. You want Robert De Niro in Smash Bros? There you go. Make a Mii of him. Or do you want Lunk from Pennsylvania in Smash Brothers? There you go. You can make Lunk. You can put it as a sword fighter, and there you go. You have 3 classes: Brawler, Sword Fighter, and Gunner. If you play Smash 4 in Ultimate, you know this. They're introducing Smash 4, they get an Ultimate, yada yada yada. But the big point of contention is the Mii Fighters costumes, especially the ones that were introduced in DLC, which it kind of ruined some people's hopes and dreams. I mean, when I saw Travis Mii costume for the first time, I was like, oh. I was kind of expecting it because he's a more niche character that not a whole lot of people know. Suda51, you did try your best. Oh well, maybe next time. I mean, No More Heroes is probably not going to be relevant by then, so unless people really want it, at least really are asking for him, which, considering his series is niche and not really being talked about now, I kinda doubt it. But, I mean, if Suda51 persisted, and Sakurai would finally be like, and Sakurai and his team would finally say, yes, there you go. But it all depends if Sakurai would say yes, and Nintendo as well. Because, you know, Sakurai is not the only one. Sakurai, his team, Nintendo, and Grasshopper Manufacturers to the 51's company, so all of that. There's a lot of conversations going on. But considering Grasshopper Manufacturers is a small company, almost indie, not completely, but almost, yeah, I mean, I don't think that would be hard to deal with. It would actually be easy to deal with, but you know, it all depends if they want it. And Dante, I mean, I think Dante could appear in the next game because Devil May Cry, well, I mean, the last game was 5, that was a few years ago. Devil May Cry is still, like, a popular request, and I feel like Dante could appear in the next game. Especially because, you know, people love Dante. It's interesting that he only became, like, a character of discussion during the Ultimate days, but, like, base roster, because before then, people weren't really talking about Dante. They saw him as mainly a Sony character, and then really think about it in Smash Bros. Then, you know, characters like Cloud came, and Snake came back, and they were like, maybe we shouldn't be so strict on ourselves. And no, just go wild. Just pick any video game character that you want, put it in the game. Even if it has to be something crazy like, I don't know. I have no ideas right now. But in the comments, if you want to list off some crazy, bad shit, insane characters that you want to see in Smash. Oh, I just thought of one. Awesome Possum. Yeah, Awesome Possum for Smash Bros. Let's go. Let's start a campaign. Hashtag Awesome Possum for Smash. Let's go. I'll be backing that shit up. No, I'm kidding. I never played Awesome Possum. I don't care. I really don't care. But if he appeared, I would laugh my ass off. But of course, the big Pandora's boss would be if they put anime characters or characters from outside video games in it, which I'm not against, but I'm also like, oh, but if that were to happen, I mean, if it's a character I really like, for example, like Lupin the Third, if he showed up in Smash, I would be so fucking happy. It's like, oh my god, they did, oh my god. But then, a few moments after, I'll be like, oh my god, oh no. Oh no, the Pandora's box has been opened. Oh no, oh no. Oh no. But yeah, I mean, then it would be up to the team to like figure out how they would do this. And I doubt Lupin the Third would probably be the first anime character being chosen if an anime character was chosen. Although Lupin the Third is recognizable in Japan. I mean, he's popular enough. He's not one of the most popular ones, but he's popular enough from what I've gathered, especially in my stay to Japan. Like, now I have, proximity. I can see what is the most popular shit, and they really like Slam Dunk and JoJo, and Naruto. I saw an ad in the shopping mall over like Naruto characters dressing in a specific fashion. With specific clothing. I think it was a brand deal. That was interesting. But yeah, video game characters. Other characters I would like. I mean, at this point, it's really just those two, and even then, I'll be fine if they don't show up because I'm already pretty satisfied with Simon Belmont and characters like Snake. Snake coming back. That was a character I really wanted to come back, and he came back. I like that. Although, I would like other characters, but more for example, Shadow the Hedgehog. I would like him to be in the game, not just because I think he would be a cool character for the game, but more for other people. Like, a friend of mine really wants, a few friends of mine really want Shadow the Hedgehog, and he would have been an interesting, easy Echo Fighter. I personally would have preferred him if he was like a semi-clone, and had his own unique moves, but whatever. Echo Fighter would be good enough. I mean, Dr. Eggman would also be a very interesting fighter. I mean, he's one of the big iconic villains, and we got Bowser, we got Ganondorf, we got Sephiroth, which I'll talk more about him later. But yeah, I mean, that was interesting when that happened. Like when they decided, what am I talking about? Fuck, I'm just saying stupid shit. Yes, Dr. Eggman is not in the game. The only Sonic character we have so far is Sonic. I mean, we have other Sega characters. Bayonetta is technically owned by Sega. Joker, that's Atlas, which is owned by Sega, so we have that. Knights, please. Knights for Smash. Or Show I'm a Bunny, the protectors of Burning Rangers. Okay, that's just me. That's just me wishfully thinking. Oh, Saki from Sin and Punishment in Smash Bros. He didn't come back as an assist trophy in Ultimate. What's up with that? I mentioned that in my last commentary. What the fuck? What the fuck, man? Fuck. But yeah. At this point, like Dante and Travis are like the ones I want the most, and even then, I've kind of given up for Travis because I don't really see him happening now. Dante, I can still see it because he's popular enough, but Travis, not really. So I'm fine with the Mii costume. Just kind of wish that you also had the red one, not just the purple one. I like the purple jacket he wore in Travis Strikes Again, but the red jacket, like, it's iconic, you know. And specifically the free one, because I actually really like the design of that red jacket in free. But besides that, yeah, I mean, Rayman. A friend of mine would love Rayman to be in Smash, and I'm all for it. Like, I haven't played much Rayman, only really demos. But you're like, yeah, Rayman for Smash, yeah, sure. And I'm only really listing on for party, so, I mean, I mentioned Saki. I guess a more recent character, I mean, I don't know. Out of recent characters, I don't have much of a graphic feature for us. Even if I really did enjoy Xenoblade 3, I'm not necessarily like, oh wow, yeah, no way Mew for Smash, let's go. Not exactly. You know, it'll be nice if they join. I mean, personally, I would prefer Elma from Xenoblade X because I would be representing another side of Xenoblade, and Elma's just fucking cool. You know, we got dual guns and dual blades, baby. I like characters like that. But yeah. We're now seeing the character bios, and these are pretty much the precursors to trophies. They got their own description. They got the works they're coming from. I am puzzled why for Mario they mentioned like Super Mario Kart and not like Mario World or something like that. But you know, fuck it. Maybe they want to show other series. But now it's the final part of the video where I do the classic mode with Captain Falcon, and you know it's the same classic mode. I just wanted to end it on a nice note because Captain Falcon is my main, and yeah, I mean I'll discuss him a bit later. I mean I already discussed him enough, but I just really like Falcon and his fucking moves like Falcon Punch, Falcon Kick. Oh, that's awesome. Yes, show me your moves. He's iconic. People like nowadays he's known more for his Smash Bros. Appearance than like his F-Zero appearance, and he's from a racing game, so his moveset is pretty much made up. I mean, it was based off the prototype of the game of Smash 64, which was Dragon Queen, the fighting game. So his moveset is probably derives from like those test dummies that they used for the prototype, which glad that actually got footage recently thanks to one of Sakurai's videos on his YouTube channel. But yeah, another thing I wanted to discuss, as I said earlier, I wanted to discuss about Sephiroth. Sephiroth, like, we were in the middle of Fighters Pass 2 and we got Min Min, which was a character that, okay, it was nice to see, but I didn't really have much to say about it. And then Steve, which was like, what the fuck? Finally, I get to eat. I'll save that for another time. The movie's Who Killed Captain Alex. But, when Sephiroth happened, it was a Game Awards, and I like that they said, oh, we're now seeing characters, like, just to really confirm. But it was like, the Game Awards in like Portugal, it's like a midnight. And like, I'm not staying up for that. And I didn't even know that they were going to show them right away, so I went to sleep. And then the next day, I tried my best to see it. I had to put the volume down because it was so early in the morning, so I did not catch the music right away. But then, when they zoomed in on Cloud, I was like, oh my god! They fucking did it! And he ended up, like his trailer ended up being my favorite trailer out of Ultimate and probably the entire fucking series. Let's be real. Like his announcement trailer is probably the best one ever. Sora is close, but Sephiroth has everything you'd want. Great animation, great fight sequences, a great build-up to his reveal, great showcase of his moves, nice rivalry, intense mood, great song, intense moments like Mario almost getting fucking killed. That was an amazing fucking trailer. I love it. And Sephiroth, like, it was funny because it was the third time that this particular thing happened. So the particular thing is that I play a character's game, and then sometime later they're announced for Smash. So in 2018, I played Castlevania Round of Blood, and Richter showed up for Smash Brothers as an echo of Simon. During that year, I also played, what game did I play? Oh fuck, I forgot. What was the second one? Oh, we're skipping by that. We already showcased the Captain Falcon's Break the Targets. We don't need to see it again. Thanks, Falcon, for clearing that up with your final Smash. Yes! Thank you. Like, that was the best fucking trailer. And yeah, where was I? I actually forgot. Damn it. These tangents just kill me. God damn it. Yes. Sephiroth's trailer was the best. I really enjoyed it. It had everything. And yeah, the other game was like Richter, Round of Blood. I also played. What was the game I played? I played Persona 5. I played Persona 5 in late 2017 and finished it in 2018. And then Joker showed up for Smash as like the first proper DLC character after Bob the Plant. I'm joining these Smash. I love calling him Bob because, you know, there's always a room for a Bob. And then the third one was like in 2020, I played Final Fantasy VII for the first time. Later on, Sephiroth joins for Smash. And it was like, that was the first time that it happened. It was like, wow, what other bullshit can I make? Just as a warning, nothing that close in proximity ever happened again. I mean, if I were to say like, oh, I played Tekken 1, then Kazuya ended up in Smash, that was many years of difference, so... It was like, what, 2 years of difference? Yeah, so that doesn't count at that point. I would say, like, within the same year. Like, yeah. Yeah, that was an interesting thing that happened with the game. And, yeah, Smash Bros. Just means a whole lot to me. And it's one of the fighting games I can actually play competently and decently at. Although I haven't played, my mood for Smash hasn't been that much. Like, I came back for Smash for this commentary because, oh, Smash 64 would be a great commentary to talk about. But in terms of like playing Smash Ultimate or other Smash games in general, I just haven't been mad motivated. But like I said earlier, if Smash Brothers comes back sometime soon or later or whatever, I will be there. I'll be watching and I'll be playing because, like, this is a hypothetical, purely hypothetical. I doubt this will happen. But what if, just out of the blue, they're like, oh, hi, I'm Masahiro Sakurai. We're back to making some stuff for Ultimate. Here's some new modes, and here's a new character. I would be like, yes, let's go. I would be playing. I would be trying out the new character. I would do the game. I would buy. It's like, I love Smash Brothers, yeah. But of course, I doubt this will happen because Smash Ultimate is pretty much done. I mean, Sora ended things nice. What else do you want to do? I mean, there's always room for more, but at this point, yeah, we don't need to. Oh, board the platforms. We already did this. Well, time to nuke it. And that's how you beat board the platforms. But anyway, yeah, I don't expect Smash Bros. Ultimate to come back. And also, I mean, I wouldn't mind if Sakurai returns to Smash Bros., but I kind of do want him to see something new from him. Like, he has been working on Smash 4, and then he immediately went to Smash Ultimate. Almost 10 years on working on Smash. Let the guy do something new, you know? Unless he would be more of a consultant. Which, I mean, knowing the guy and knowing what he said, I doubt he would be just a consultant, at least for now. Eventually, he will have to start thinking of a successor. But for now, I think he would still be a director for the time being. If something new related to Smash Bros. Would come sometime soon. But I don't see it. I don't see it. But if, hey, date this video, Nintendo. Do it. Date this video. Date this video. Actually, no. This will. I don't know. I'm not. This video is, already gonna be outdated. I mean, some of my commentaries, that's been something I've been thinking about. Like, should I talk about some things that are relevant, but or should I try to make it timeless so that people can watch it whenever they want? I immediately threw out that idea of wanting to make it timeless. These are very time specific, and I just want people to keep that in mind. That when I said this, I said it at around the time this video was uploaded. Since after I did commentary, I uploaded soon after, so in a matter of a day or two. So. Yeah, I mean, just realize that all of these were made at a specific time, and there's gonna be things that are probably gonna be outdated, or maybe I did some wild prediction that nobody was expecting. So, yeah, that's pretty much the big thing. But yeah, pretty much right now, just do the rest of Classic Blues, Captain Falcon. I've noticed that this is actually the 7th commentary I'm doing, and it's oddly appropriate. Like, Smash Bros. Would be the lucky number. I don't know why, but I find that kind of satisfying. I've actually been interested. I like them. People have been seeing my commentaries, either when they just watch it or when they have nothing else to do and want to listen to a sort of podcast, they can just hear me rambling on some random shit or stuff related to the game I'm playing, and just have fun. And I appreciate that. Super Metroid, Mega Man 2, Super Castlevania 4, Nights into Dreams, Mario Paint, and Mario Artist Paint Studio, and as of late, Sin and Punishment, and now Super Smash Bros. 64. What comes next? Well, I have ideas because, and I've said this to some of my friends, but I actually have a word pad, a notebook of games I want to do. Out of those, like the first one right before I went to Japan, that was a thing I did. I wrote it down, and the first game I wanted to do was Sin and Punishment, so that's why right after I came to Japan, I wanted to do Sin and Punishment, because then I found out that, oh yeah, I can do it. I don't have much limitations in regards to that. And then I had a lot of other ideas. There's some that I'm kind of limited in because at the time of recording, I don't have a capture card, so I'm limited because my PC is not that powerful. But thankfully, with some finagling, I was able to make this one come true. Smash 64 one. The file size for this one, because of my finagling, the file size for the video of Smash 64 is the biggest so far. 21 gigabytes. Holy fuck. That was even bigger than Nights into Dreams, which was like, what, 7? Jesus Christ. But it was all to make sure that there was the least amount of audio crackling as possible, because I wanted to try and make this a bit better than the Sin and Punishment one. And I tried my best with Sin and Punishment, and it still came out fine. But this one is like, it's Smash Brothers, baby. I cannot fuck this up. So much so that I actually had to cut in some parts and put others as replacement on top. For example, the Master Hand fights for the classic modes, I had to re-record them with different settings on my OBS, because when I saw the video after my initial recording, they were literally becoming a slideshow. That I will not allow. So I set up things differently. I will record them. I even took into account the amount of lives I had at the time I did the classic mode, just to make it as authentic as possible. And you guys may be saying, like, why are you telling this? Aren't you supposed to like fake us? But like, I guess it's also like, I'm only doing this because I want it to be as smooth as possible, be as no cuts as possible. Like, I will say, I failed some of the break target stages, and some of the attempts you saw were like my second or third attempt. But I cut those out just for a more smoother experience. Maybe I would have more time, but it's also like, having more time does not necessarily mean I will have more time to talk, because, you know, as some of you have probably concluded, sometimes I run out of things to talk about. So far, I've actually been pretty good with this, but that's because Smash Bros. Is fucking Smash Bros. And Smash Bros., there's also a lot to talk about when it comes to Smash Bros. I probably missed a lot of things. I mean, I could go into specifics about my experiences with Melee and Brawl and all that stuff, but I'll leave that for the future, whenever that is, because maybe I'll do a commentary on another Smash Bros. Game, maybe not. So far, I don't plan to do anything. But maybe one day. But as I was saying earlier, I did a list. I put, and Sin and Punishment was like the first one, and then I have other ones I want to do. Some of them are limited by the capture card, but this one was also on the list, and I was like, okay, yep, capture card. Yeah, I can do it on PC. And it came out good, and honestly, this was also one that I had a fun time doing some edits. You guys saw that Ordinary versus Creative People edit earlier, because I just wanted to do that silly joke. And also those two edits by me skipping break targets and border platforms, because you guys already saw it, so let's just skip past them. Take it away, Captain Falcon. Just because of fun, and I like having, you know, I like, one thing that's for certain is I'll with this very casual commentary series, this series has become sort of a personal thing for me. Like, I share my own experiences with these games. The recordings are mine and mine alone, and the potential edits I do are like mine, and the games I choose are also mine. So, like, Sin and Punishment, like, not many people know about the game, but thankfully, because I know about the game and I wanted to introduce more people to it, and I wanted to play for the commentary to expose the game to more people, I did it. Nice Dreams, similar boat. Super Castlevania 4 to express my love for the series. Okay. Mega Man 2, I mean, I did it mainly because I wanted to do that funny joke with the airplane, but hey, I also had a lot to say about Mega Man. Super Metroid, that was the first one, and still currently, at the time of recording, the longest one yet. And I just, that was experimental. I wasn't even thinking about making this a series back then, but in just a matter of months, times have changed, and I decided, hey, let's make this a series, because it's an easy way for me to just express about the things I like. So, yeah. So, why not we end this with a bang, and actually try to Falcon Punch this Master Hand? Take it away, Captain Falcon! Falcon Punch! Captain Falcon! He just screams. When I had the idea for this edit, I was like, yes, I gotta do this. I gotta fucking do this. I did actually watch the F-Zero anime a few years ago, and back in 2019, I watched all the episodes, and I was like, I actually had a good time with the anime. It's not perfect, but it's a decent anime. I liked it. But yeah, I gotta end this with a bang, because it's Super Smash Brothers, baby. I guess this is the part where I do my final thoughts, is I'm actually letting the credits roll, unlike the last classic mode. But I love Super Smash Brothers. I mean, I think that has been pretty fucking clear. It's a series where I'm playing it, or just like looking forward to the announcements and new characters and stages or whatever. I just have a good time. The fact that this series introduced me to a lot of people who I am friends with. One of my best friends is I got introduced thanks to Smash Brothers, and just all that stuff. Like, Smash Brothers is great, a unifying fan base, and I just wish that there wasn't as much negativity around it when a new character gets announced. Like, hey guys, yeah, your character did not make it, but why not try the other games that these characters came from, you know? Try to appreciate that, you know? But, closing it off, Smash Bros. 64 is a good game, and I really enjoy it. It's a nice start for Smash, and I hope you all enjoyed this commentary. See you next time!